The Laker gang is in high gear. Beaten by Houston in the playoffs a year ago, the Lakers are one game away from returning to the NBA Finals for the 6th time in Magic Johnson's 8 years. Led by their MVP, they've attacked Seattle from every direction. And 40-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar continues to roll. The new faces in the West belong to the Cinderella team in Seattle. The Sonics gunned down the whole state of Texas earlier, but they've been frustrated by the crafty veterans from Southern California. Still, Xavier McDaniel and his teammates have not quit. They battle the Lakers every step of the way, and they want to win one today. Saturday's win moved Pat Riley into second place in all-time playoff victories. And Bernie Bickerstaff is in his first playoff appearance with Seattle. He's chasing those numbers. CBS Sports welcomes you to the Great Northwest and our continuing coverage of the 1987 NBA playoffs. It is game number 4, the Western Conference Final. The favored Los Angeles Lakers against the surprising Seattle SuperSonics. But the Lakers are only one win away from going back to the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, the East has become a Donnybrook. Detroit and Boston tied at 2 and headed back to the Boston Garden for a war on Tuesday night. 9 days ago, James Worthy exploded for 27, and the Lakers beat the Sonics in Game 1, but the Sonics held tough. Then in the second one, Magic Johnson with that triple-double, and the Lakers went up 2-zip. Then the series moved up here to Seattle, and Worthy exploded again, a career-high 39 points, and that sets the stage for number 4. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. A quick thought about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, what they've meant to the NBA since they came in the 80s. Well, back in the mid-70s, you could buy an NBA team for some $6 million. Right now, my colleague Billy Cunningham, he was allowed to buy in for $32.5. Billy, here we are. It's 3-0. Tell me what the Sonics can do now to win a game from these Lakers.
Well, 2 things. Number 1, they have to do a better job at the foul line, only shooting 68%. And the Lakers have outscored them by 13 points per game at the foul line. But being at Game 3, Brent, I felt watching this team, Seattle, they were just a little too emotionally ready for this game. They have to relax a little bit and just take a deep breath and then shoot the ball. They rush their shots.
Let me ask you about the Lakers up 3-0. What about the motivation for a win here today?
Well, they've been going on the theme that, they are just possessed. They want to win this championship desperately. And we'll be able to see that today if they're ready. Now, one thing we'll notice is loose balls. If the Lakers are getting those loose balls, they are ready.
There's no question about the determination on the Sonics' part. When I was inside their locker room to a man, they said, we want to beat L.A. today.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1987 NBA playoffs is sponsored by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. Nissan's Pathfinder, named Best 4x4 of the Year by both Four-Wheeler and Four-Wheel and Off-Road magazines. And by Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and other financial services.
The Coliseum is ready to rock for the Lakers this afternoon. Worthy, A.C. Green, Abdul-Jabbar, Scott, and Johnson against the Sonics. Chambers, McDaniel, Lister, Ellis, and McMillan. The officials, the story involves the alternate, the man in the middle, John Bannock. This is his last game. After 26 years, he'll retire. Joey Crawford and Ed Rush will work the game. James Worthy averaging 32 points a game in the 3 outings so far, and half goes to the Lakers. They control it. You know who the main man is when they've got the ball. Magic Johnson will set the table for him.
Well, and the big factor for the Lakers in the first periods of the last 2 games is the effectiveness of the man with the ball right there.
Pretty effective with that shot. What can you do to slow him down, Billy?
Well, I think a couple things is you have to try and keep the ball out of his hands. He is so effective now. In the past, you could back off and force him to shoot the jump shot, and he didn't want to do that. He was reluctant. Now he can bury it.
McDaniel was red hot the other night. Misses his first shot. Offensive rebound, Chambers. That could be a big stat. Knocked away, though, by the Laker D. A.C. Green brings it out on the dribble. Crowd thought a foul should be called. Officials thought otherwise. Magic's first shot. Lister rebounds. Out now into the hands of McMillan, the rookie from North Carolina State. Loses it on the dribble, and he traveled. Billy, what should fans look for with the Sonic attack here this afternoon? Everyone is familiar with the weapons possessed by the Lakers, but what about the Sonics on offense?
Well, offensively, they have 3 weapons in Ellis, Chambers, and Xavier McDaniels, 3 outstanding offensive players, 3 players that averaged over 23 points during the regular season. And they have to get those players into the action offensively.
Magic Johnson now 1 for 2.
Magic Johnson.
You also notice that the Lakers have picked up 2 loose balls already in this ball game, and we haven't played 2 minutes.
A 20-second timeout quickly by Bernie Bickerstaff. He wants to talk it over. He cannot afford to allow the Lakers get off to an early run.
Now, that was a play that hurt Seattle a great deal right there, the pick and roll. And the Lakers will run it many different ways with Magic Johnson, and he has become such a force offensively.
Well, there's the man who was a longtime assistant at Washington under K.C. Jones, Dick Motta, Gene Shue. Finally got his chance. He made the most of it. He would, however, like to change one rule. Bernie said by the time you reach the age of 40, it should be a mandatory retirement age. And that'd get you-know-who off the floor here in Game 4. Lister positioning against Kareem, turns inside on him, then hits the layup. Byron Scott. How old was Scott when Kareem was a rookie with Milwaukee in the NBA?
He was 8 years old. Is that something? I guess Magic had to be around 10 years old.
Yeah. McDaniel on the penetrating move, missing the shot, and Abdul-Jabbar off with the defensive rebound, and Magic quickly to the attack for the Lakers. He traveled on the turnover to go to the Sonics.
Well, that was excellent defense by Nate McMillan. He stepped in that passing lane and caused that turnover. What an interesting story Nate McMillan is, coming out of North Carolina State, 2nd-round pick here for the Seattle SuperSonics, and he had the record this year for the most assists in a game, 25.
1 and out for the Sonics again. Johnson shot taken away by McMillan. Nate tightens up on him, so they go across the floor and dump it into Worthy. McDaniel with him, and Worthy with one of the best first steps in basketball. Abdul-Jabbar fouled as he comes to the glass off the offensive rebound.
Well, that was just created by Worthy's strong move to the basket. Lister had to come over to help, and Jabbar just followed him in and got that offensive rebound.
2 shots for Abdul-Jabbar.
So good we have taken him for granted for much of his fabulous career in professional basketball.
That's 21 foul shots in a row in this series for Kareem.
Pat Riley says that Kareem was a key when he took this team over because he accepted his leadership initially. And oh, how that helps when the superstars accept the coach.
That is the truth.
Ellis, who came from Dallas, many of you are familiar with his story. Great shooter, rhythm shooter. Doesn't need much to get that shot off. Ordinarily, he doesn't create a shot like that off the dribble. He'll come around a screen and shoot it.
And I think that's something he'll have to work on during the offseason.
There's Worthy on the soar, and he missed again. He is off slowly. McMillan hits McDaniel, and he couldn't jam. He missed it, but he runs it down. Intercepted by Abdul-Jabbar. He did not see Kareem sneaking in from the rear. We see Green, hard worker inside the Lakers, missing the hook. The Lakers not shooting well here the last few trips. Chambers out of Utah, played with Danny Brains on a fine Ute team.
He needed that shot. He struggled early in Game 3, only in the first half, only shooting 2 for 9 from the field.
He draws Worthy. McMillan backs off to help double in case Worthy wanted to come. They leave Chambers alone, and he misfired over everything. Magic hits Green coming down the middle. The unselfishness of Magic Johnson that time, who could have turned around and taken the shot just as easily.
That's a bad foul by Alton Lister. There was nothing he could do on that play. He should have backed off, let A.C. Green have the 2 points. He's picked up his 2nd foul, and that could really hurt the Sonics ball club.
Who backs him up on this Sonic team, Billy? Where can Bernie go for help?
Well, Bernie will go to 4 people to play against Kareem. They'll use Clem Johnson, Maurice Lucas, and we'll see Chambers playing at that center position as well.
Green misfiring on the free throw.
And we see the tentativeness of those Chambers that last time he had that jump shot. when a player has the confidence, he just goes up right away and buries it.
McMillan wanted Lister, who was crashing to rebound, intercepted by Ellis. McDaniels open on the right. Ellis penetrates all the way and misses the layup. Magic's control to Worthy. Scott's over on the right, Green in the middle. Here's the man in the middle coming through, and he draws the foul. A.C. Green will shoot a pair of free throws. Tell me about Green's development for the Lakers this year.
Well, you know, it was a commitment by Pat Riley and the Lakers to just give him that position, that starting strong forward position, and he has responded so well this year. He leads this team in rebounding, averaging nearly 8 rebounds a game during the regular season. Has just really blossomed into an outstanding player in the league. But we've seen the outstanding defense of the Lakers. They're so active defensively, and I think Pat Riley has made those adjustments from last year to this year.
Not a single team foul yet on the Los Angeles Lakers. McDaniel couldn't get it done. Chambers with the offensive rebound is fouled, and he'll step up to that free throw line.
Foul is charged to A.C. Green, his first team foul of the quarter.
So with 7:35, the Lakers commit their first team foul of this period. They are up by 6. Chambers was a remarkable story at the All-Star break. Ralph Sampson could not play for the West because of an injury, so they added Chambers. He stepped in and became the most valuable player. Free throws were a bugaboo down the stretch in Game 3. Sonics must improve in that category. Kareem to the left hand. They want him to go in that direction, and he burned them anyway.
Now, that wasn't Alton Lister's fault. He was expecting defensive help to come down as soon as Kareem put it on the floor.
Ellis misfiring, loose. Green out for the Lakers. Into Scott's hands, he hits Worthy. Worthy after the fake, get the roll. Lister into Chambers' hands. It's 3-on-1. Kareem is back. And Chambers just lost it and traveled.
That's just bad basketball by Chambers. He should have hit the middle. They had a 3-on-1 fast break, and they end up with nothing.
Now, Chambers continues to struggle a little bit here mentally for Bernie Bickerstaff, and they're going to need his production later. Billy Cunningham, show us what Chambers should have done on this 3-on-1.
Well, Brent, what he should have done is made the pass right here to Xavier McDaniels, and this would have allowed them a 3-on-1 fast break attacking Jabbar. But we see what ends up here is Chambers taking the ball. He was thinking it looked like he wanted to try and take it strong to Jabbar, but you don't want your player 6'11" handling the ball at half court.
And then at the last instant, he thought about a behind-the-back pass and botched it completely and turned the ball over. It's 14-8. Sonics not shooting well.
But it just shows you the weapons of this Laker team. In the past couple games, we've seen Worthy come out and be so strong offensively, but he has struggled. He's missed his last 4 shots, and Maurice Lucas is now in the ball game playing at the center position, so he'll be matched up against Jabbar.
Alton Lister sits with those 2 personals. Or the Sonics have to be down a bit because Worthy's only 1 of 5, and he's missed all his shots inside. I bet they're all inside of about 10 feet here. Unusual. Kareem coming in the middle, missed, and there Worthy got a tap in with the left hand. That's his second field goal. Nate McMillan bringing it down for the Sonics, who find themselves trailing again. 1 more defeat and they're out, and the Lakers will head back to the championship.
You see how Magic backs off McMillan, trying to take away the passing lane and creates that turnover.
It is possible, Billy, that the Sonics are trying a little too hard, that there's a little bit too much thinking out there and not reacting as athletes right now.
This reminds me a lot of game number 3, where they're just thinking and not just playing.
Scott hits it as Chambers was hammered to the ground on the inside. Johnson picks up McMillan. Ellis off that screen. Green misfiring. Lucas underneath, yanks it away from Green. Chambers drives to the glass. Chance for the three-point play.
There was a smart veteran, Maurice Lucas, getting that rebound, knowing he didn't have a good shot. He just dribbled it out. He knew possession was the most important thing and found Chambers. Now for a chance for the three-point play.
Chambers with one shot.
Last year, Maurice Lucas was wearing the colors of the Lakers.
Eddie Johnson sees his first action as McMillan sits down on the Sonic bench.
Now, it'll be interesting to see who Eddie Johnson matches up with. If he matches up against Magic Johnson defensively, I would expect that the Lakers will go inside and try to post him up. Now we see Seattle go into that trap, trying to take the Lakers out of their set offense.
Daniel doubles on Kareem. Worthy.
Just forced Chambers to leave his feet.
Here's Ellis. Gets inside of Scott. Short on the shot. Worthy. Into the hands of Johnson. Look at how Magic eyes the court all the time. Studies where everybody is. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who knows where all 10 players are. A great presence on the floor, and Bernie Bickerstaff now with his hands full. There's 5 minutes to go in the opening period, and the Lakers. No team has come back from 3-0 in an NBA series, and very few from 2-0. Yet the Pistons have equaled that Eastern Conference final against the Celtics. They'll play Game 5 in Boston. Then Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS, you will see Game 6 from the Silverdome. And the Pistons' confidence is soaring as Dick Versace, an assistant coach to Chuck Daly, is here scouting this game this afternoon, and Bernie Bickerstaff goes back to his bench.
Yeah, he brought Russ Shaney in, who they acquired, who was playing in Italy last year.
Eddie Johnson hits the field goal after the timeout. Now, the thing is, the Sonics need a run, and against the Lakers, that is so tough because there are so many weapons on the floor, including Worthy, who has gotten better each year that he's been out of North Carolina. Johnson draws the foul, and Eddie Johnson providing some offensive sparks.
Well, we see the veterans, Eddie Johnson and Maurice Lucas, coming off the bench and giving this spark to this Sonic ball club. Johnson is a player who has battled a drug problem, which bothered him down in Atlanta. Seems to have overcome it. You may notice the back of his head when he plays today that it's been shaved back there. He has a little bit of a nerve disorder, he was telling us. And he was picked up on waivers on March 2nd by the Sonics and has really come in and responded well for this team.
He was all over Magic on the drive that time, and that's his first personal foul.
Well, Magic is going to attack Eddie Johnson any opportunity he has. There's a difference of nearly 7 inches. You know, when we watch Magic play, and he's so graceful and so fluid, you tend to forget that he's 6'9". He's supposed to be a strong forward in this league.
Scott. Great jump shooter. Chambers and A.C. Green start pushing underneath. And Eddie Rush saw it. He'll stop the game right now, and he'll have a few words with both of them. Brings Chambers and A.C. Green together. They were muscling underneath. Chambers got in the last shove, and that's when Rush decided to have a word of warning, which is good officiating. Let him know right now that the next time they get at it, there'll either be a double foul call or you'll toss both of them right out of the game. Officials have to clean it up underneath if they're going to stop some of that slam dunking that's been going on around the league. Chambers outside. Gonna go back over. Underneath, there was a foul against the Sonics as Michael Cooper gets ready to check in.
And they'll shoot the one-on-one.
Here is the defensive player of the year, and he may have contributed the defensive play of this series in Game 3. If we get an opportunity, we'll take another look at that and have Billy show you the greatness of a Michael Cooper on defense.
The beauty of this Laker team is how unselfish they are. And I think it all starts is the way they're playing defensively. They're helping each other. They're working so well as a unit at the defensive end of the court. It's carrying over to the offensive end of the court. We're seeing them make that extra pass offensively.
Johnson with the left hand. Pressure on the ball. Johnson has it deflected out of bounds. Lakers ball with Cooper checking in. Now the Lakers have hit their last 6 on the field.
One thing you'll notice in this game, I'm not sure if we'll see it, but in the last game, Rambis did not play at all. And the reason is that Pat Riley feels that he needs those 3 guards in there. He needs his quickest lineup because of the tempo of the game.
Worthy shipping it. Now they find Cooper, the off man.
Wasn't that beautiful, that extra pass? No one's concerned about how many points they score, how many assists. Let's just help make sure we win the games.
McDaniel. Well, you're seeing why the Lakers are favored to win it all. It's a great basketball team. Worthy coming through.
They didn't get a chance to put the 24-second clock on.
I mean, they come down the floor after a made basket. That's how tough they are.
One shot for Worthy.
Now watch how quickly they get this basketball inbounds. And they're flying now. And Magic, who sees the whole court, as you mentioned earlier, Brent. And there's Worthy for the 2 and a possible 3-point play.
Kevin Williams seeing his first action. Played at St. John's. McDaniel. And he traveled.
Well, we see the difference in the teams. We see where the Seattle team, they're trying to do it all individually, and the Lakers offensively are doing it as a team.
They lost a game 4 to Golden State. Determined not to let that happen here again. Kareem with his second left-handed field goal of this game, and 3 field goals overall. Actually 2 in a pair of free throws, what he has. 35-20 with 2:27 to go in the first. The Sonics call a timeout. Bickerstaff complaining to Rush, and Rush said, "That's enough, Bernie, or I'm going to call a technical." Bernie says a little high five time. Let's take a look at that play from the other night that I mentioned. And Billy, tell the fans about Michael Cooper's defensive prowess here, because I think it was about a 3-point game at the time.
3-point game, and what this play will show is why this man is the best defensive player in the NBA this year. You'll see an unbelievable effort. He's going to come off one screen set by Chambers, and now he's going to have to trail Dale Ellis out to the weak side. And look where he's going to come from, fighting through his screen and blocking that shot and locking the game up for the Lakers.
So many times you go to practice and you hear coaches say to their players, if you're beaten on a screen, don't quit, don't give up. And how often do you see guys quit and give up? But that time Cooper didn't, and he kept coming. And with that lunge, he was able to get a finger or 2 on the ball. It threw the shot off, and who knows if Ellis had made that field goal, what might have happened the rest of the way in that game. It was such a big play by Cooper.
Watching him develop since he was a rookie in this league, when he first came in, he couldn't handle the basketball very well at all. As a matter of fact, I remember when I was coaching in Philly, we used to look to press full court as soon as he was handling the basketball. The next thing is he couldn't shoot the basketball at all from the perimeter. And now he's become one of the best, if not the best, 3-point shooter in this league. The only thing we were concerned about with Cooper was the lob pass and the possible dunk. And now he's just made himself into a complete basketball player.
So the Lakers will set up defensively against the Sonics, who have on the floor Williams, Ellis, Lucas, Chambers, and Johnson inbounding the ball into the hands of Chambers. Magic with 8 assists already, 8 of the Lakers' 10, and the Sonics without a single assist. That backs up what Billy C. said about the Sonics are trying to do it all alone. Kevin Williams from the perimeter with the jump shot. And that time they had some ball movement. Lakers have run off their last 9 shots over 4.5 minutes. It was their first miss during that time. And goes to the Sonics. So we're live at the Seattle Coliseum, Game 4 of the Western Conference Final. Along with Billy Cunningham, I'm Brent Musburger. Maurice Lucas missing. Chambers trying to put it back up. He hurried it underneath and could not get it to fall. And Cooper comes back in the middle into Scott's hands. And Ellis knocked the ball out of bounds. It's the Lakers' ball. They have dominated this game from the very beginning.
Well, we see that Bernie Bickerstaff is really juggling that lineup, trying to find that combination that can get them back into this game.
Kareem with the jump shot. He is fouled.
Well, it's a poor foul by Kevin Williams, who's, what, about 6'2", trying to block a man's shot that's 7'3". Clem Johnson coming in, who also is, they traded Philadelphia for, traded Mike McCormick and Danny Brains for Clem Johnson. You know, this Sonic team has 6 first-round picks over the next 3 years. 6 first-round picks.
I know they have the Knicks, and that's going to get them, what, the 5th pick in the upcoming draft.
And they have the 9th pick this year.
Well, let's see. Chuck Person went 4th, I believe, but that shows you the kind of athletes you can get 4, 5, and 6 if you do your homework.
And the player Bernie Bickerstaff would like to have is a strong forward. He thinks that Chambers plays more like a small forward, and he's got Xavier McDaniels playing the same spot.
On the turnover, Michael Thompson into the hands of Byron Scott. Armin Gilliam of UNLV might be available at that point in the draft. He'd look pretty good in his Sonic uniform, wouldn't he? Here they are trying to dig uphill against that machine from Southern California. The Lakers put on a clinic. Knocked away by Clement Johnson. Gets the turnover into the hands of Williams. It's 3-on-1. Williams takes it alone, and there is Chambers, but the foul is called underneath. And again, we see the Sonics trying to do it all by themselves.
Absolutely, and we saw that Cooper just put a question mark in Kevin Williams' mind. He was afraid that he might have stepped in the passing lane, so he decided to take it all the way.
2 shots for Williams.
That was an interesting story Bernie Bickerstaff told you about Kevin Williams, why he wanted Kevin Williams on his ball club.
Well, he was an assistant coach with the Bullets, and they had Rick Mahorn and Jeff Ruland, a couple of big, muscular, tough guys, and they went down to Texas to play down there, and he said Kevin Williams wanted to fight both of them at the same time, and I thought anybody that crazy is probably pretty good to have around. Kurt Rambis will not sit and watch this entire game.
But we see a mismatch right away. Clem Johnson having to go out and play Byron Scott on the court.
Cooper's 3. Misfires. And there is Williams contributing a rebound into the hands of Chambers, who has been tentative. Off the drive, he hits it. And that could get him going. He's a very explosive player.
Such an outstanding athlete. That was just a fine move to the middle and able to hang in the air and maintain that concentration and the chance for the three-point play.
Shot for Chambers.
I think the big question about Tom Chambers is his concentration at the defensive end of the court. It seems that there's times when he's just not aware of where his teammates are defensively or where his man is, more importantly.
Cooper, Scott, Worthy, Rambis, and Michael Thompson on the floor for Pat Riley. Foul calls. Goes against the Sonics, and that's second on Williams.
But we're seeing a young team out here. But when you see a foul like that, Cooper out on the perimeter, dribbling the basketball, not looking to go to the basket or shoot the jump shot, and you pick up a cheap foul like that, you can't do that and expect to beat a Laker basketball team. I asked Pat Riley, I said, well, how would you compare this team to past teams that you've coached? And he said that this by far is the best defensive ball club he's ever coached. And he thought maybe that 81-82 team might have been a little better, but he said he'd like to wait until the season's over to make a fast judgment.
Let's see, that was the team in which I think Bob McAdoo came off the bench, right? And he contributed instant firepower for him. That's the one he liked.
That's true.
Inside the Chambers now, rising up on Michael Thompson, gets the roll.
But those shots aren't going to beat the Lakers.
Thompson. Into the first period in Seattle. And the Sonics battle back in the closing minutes. But too much firepower overall for the Lakers, and they lead at 39-28. So the Lakers behind balanced scoring with 6 players having scored 4 or more points in that opening period. That gives you a summary of the first 12 minutes here in the Seattle Coliseum. As for the Sonics, only one of their starters scored more than 1 field goal, and that was Chambers. Billy, they have clamped down hard on Xavier McDaniel, who played a spectacular game in number 3 here the other night.
Yeah, he had 42 points and just put on just a phenomenal offensive performance.
He is back out here as we get started here in period number 2. Ellis with a bad pass. Cooper with his defensive prowess caused the turnover.
You see how quick this Laker ball club is? As soon as that ball was tipped, there were 3 Lakers converging on that ball.
Worthy backing in on McDaniel. He and Magic in a little 2-man game, and Worthy moves it to the baseline.
But that's beautiful. It's such patience. Worthy felt making that pass back to Magic, he could reestablish and get better position, and he did, and Magic gave it right back to him. It was like 9 or 10 assists for Magic to this point in the game.
Chambers up on Thompson. Worthy yanks it away at the defensive end. Into Magic's hands. He finds Cooper. Thompson coming down, and Chambers with a fine defensive play. It'll go over to the Sonics.
Now in the last ball game, Sonics were able to bother the Lakers with a little full court pressure. But what we're seeing here early in this game is that the Lakers are really attacking it and getting opportunities at the other end, easy ones.
Knocked away and out of bounds by Worthy. Williams returns.
Kevin Williams replaces
Clement Johnson sits, so it'll be Ellis, Williams, McDaniel, Chambers, and McMillan.
And so far, we've seen 4 people now play the center position for the Sonics ball club. Now Chambers will go to the middle.
McDaniel coming up over Rambis. His 2nd field goal of the game.
We see Magic posting up the smaller Williams. He's going to look to go to that hook shot if he can. Worthy.
Sonics trying to get a run established. Williams loses the dribble. Lakers come right back. Rambis finishes it.
Rambis.
No margin for error against the Lakers. Williams.
Kevin Williams.
Shooting better than he did in game 3.
The Lakers have not had to take a tough shot yet.
Good defensive effort by Ellis.
And Ellis now is matched up with Worthy.
Chambers on the move.
Well, this smaller lineup might get the Sonics going. They've got to become more aggressive defensively. But they're going to look to go inside to the mismatch to Magic. And he's so tough to play because he's unselfish down there.
Short on the hook. Sonics ball. Their best run of the afternoon. We are back live in Seattle, and Billy Cunningham, tell us about Dale Ellis and Coach Bickerstaff at practice yesterday.
Well, after game 3, where Worthy had such a great game and got off to such a big start, he went to Coach Bickerstaff and said, "Hey, Coach, let me try playing Worthy inside. I think I can do the job." And now he's getting his wish, and we'll find out if he can do it.
The Sonics on a 6-2 run. They have been 3 of 4 here in the 2nd period. The Lakers are 2 of 5. McMillan bringing it down. Williams looking for McDaniel, and Rambis fronted him and took the ball away. Ellis short. 1 and out. Thompson's rebound for LA.
Looks like they're going to go to the pick and roll.
Thompson, short. Lucas rebound.
And we see the Sonics are just switching on that play. forcing McMillan, though, to have to play the bigger Thompson inside.
Lakers missing something without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar right now. McMillan rattles out. Thompson has it taken away by Ellis. Rolls out of bounds. Lakers ball. Speaking of the big fella, Kareem is back.
Abdul-Jabbar replaces Thompson.
And we've seen the last 2 times down, the Sonics have not gotten the shot that they would like to get. They're going to have more patience and execute their offense better against this Laker team.
Pressure in the backcourt. Lakers get it up.
Now, this is a small Sonic team. The biggest player out there is Maurice Lucas at 6'9", and he's got to play against Jabbar.
There's a foul in underneath.
Well, Cooper was giving Maurice Lucas the look when he went off the screen by Jabbar. They were looking for the lob, and Maurice just stuck an elbow out and just said hello to him, his old teammate. Now we see Russ Shaney in the basketball game.
Shaney is 6'10" out of Tennessee Chattanooga, AC. This is a left-handed runner. The X-Man, McDaniel on the move, gets it to McMillan, the lead man. Lucas with an offensive rebound and a field goal.
They still did not run the fast break properly. Now Kareem and Lucas are really going at it.
Score it and put Magic on the line.
Is first. Second.
Now take a look at this banging down low with Lucas and Kareem.
Danny Young replaces Kevin Williams for the Sonics. One shot.
Danny Young in for the first time this afternoon, and Williams sits down.
Danny Young's from Wake Forest. Second round pick, second year in the league.
Daniel backs in. Cooper's 3. Offensive rebound by Scott, but the loose ball foul is called as he was muscling for position. He committed his first.
Well, it appears that Bernie Bickerstaff, rotating his players, has found them, got the players into the game. Because very easily, the way they started, they could be down 20 points right now to the Lakers.
Ball is kicked. Sonics from the side.
Now, offensively, though, the Sonics don't have a lot of offensive punch in there, except for Xavier McDaniels.
He was on a great Wichita State team.
Oh, what a front line that was.
Carr and Livingston. Lucas off the dribble. There's a whistle, and very few of the players heard it. It's against Lucas for muscling hard on Abdul-Jabbar and keeping him out. Watch Lucas as he picks up Kareem here. Makes like an offensive tackle trying to keep out the rush of a defensive lineman. And the outside official, Joey Crawford, saw it and called the foul. We've got a timeout. 6:37 left in the first half.
You know, over the years, Chick Hearn and Keith Erickson have called some great games for the Lakers, and this is one of them.
And the Lakers put an unknown Brent Musburger into the ball game. Who? Brent Musburger, it says here in this note that I just got. The score is 101-101, ladies and gentlemen. 27 seconds left to play. The ball is inbounded to Magic Johnson. He dribbles over into the corner. He's double-teamed over there by Larry Bird and D.J. Johnson. Out in front, jumping up and down, hollering, I want the ball, I want the ball. There's Musburger. Now Magic still double-teamed in the corner. No place to go. The 24-second clock about to expire. He throws it out of front. Musburger's got it. He's 24 feet out. He puts up the jump shot. It hits the rim, bounces high. It's no.
Boy, I remember that well.
Yeah,
what
right.
a moment.
Didn't that guy Musburger ever pass the ball?
Never.
All right, glad to have you along with us on this Memorial Day weekend. We've got the Lakers and the Sonics in Game 4 of the Western Conference Final. Kareem for an easy 2 on the inside. Kareem has scored 10 here in the first half.
That's a great play by Pat Riley coming out of that timeout. He wanted to go in where the strength was with the mismatch with Lucas having to guard Kareem.
Came out with Lucas off the drive, and he drew the foul.
Foul, Abdul-Jabbar. His first.
I wanted to check on that timeout while we were away, Billy. It was called by Seattle again. They are down to 3 full timeouts. You see that Pat Riley has 7 and 1/22, so Bernie Bickerstaff may have backed himself into a bit of a corner here.
He had no choice, though. The Lakers were taking complete control of the game in that first period, and he had to use those timeouts to stop the momentum of the Lakers. If he didn't, I think that he would be in serious trouble right now and be out of this ballgame.
Chambers returns for the Sonics, so he joins Young, McMillan, McDaniel, and Lucas. Green goes back to the inside, and he travels.
Now, the reason he traveled, the Sonics want to force Kareem to his left and away from that skyhook. And as he made that move to the baseline, he saw Tom Chambers standing right there.
At one time, L.A. led this by 14.
Just looking to isolate with McDaniel.
They get it done. Missed the shot, and Lucas couldn't get the handle. Young runs it down. AC Green got to it first and move it over to Cooper on the left baseline, and AC is in underneath.
AC Green.
Boy, he came out of Oregon State. A lot of people had question marks about him. Would he be able to even play in the NBA? But here he is playing for a great Laker team and starting and contributing so much to this club.
Lucas missing, Johnson rebounding. Chambers trying to cut him off, and Magic gets around him. Takes it in all the way. Oh, and a driving layup by the MVP of the NBA this year. Jerry West and Bill Sharman back home in L.A. They must enjoy how this talent is performing. Bounces into Chambers' hands, and he gets the bounce.
Jerry West and Bill Sharman don't get the credit, but the job they've done putting this team together. At the end of last year, everyone's saying, well, that's it for the Lakers. Well, Houston's coming up. Dallas is improving as a ball club. They didn't panic. They didn't look into that. They just made some adjustments with their bench and also picked up Michael Thompson.
Brings moves slickly to the inside. He has scored a dozen here in the first half.
Well, what it amounts to, when you get to the playoffs, you really look for the mismatches. And here's the mismatch, the big one, where Maurice Lucas just has to play against Kareem.
Short, McMillan going after it, collides with Green underneath, and the loose ball is called. Let's take one more look at that great play by Johnson.
Look at this. Ducks under. It looks so easy when he does it.
Does whatever it takes, doesn't he?
He and Larry Bird, when they came into this league, it's just unbelievable how they've affected the game.
Ellis. It's away from Magic, and he runs it down. This time he hits Worthy, back to AC Green.
That's the area of James Worthy's game that Pat Riley feels he's improved the most at, and that's passing. You saw he made that fine pass to AC Green.
Great run by the Sonics, and then suddenly the Lakers take command again. Off Johnson on the floor. He dives for it.
Another loose ball.
Magic's in the middle. He'll come to the free throw line.
Foul is charged to Chambers, his first.
Cooper returns for Coach Riley. Owner Jerry Buss there behind the Laker bench.
Cooper returns to the Lakers lineup for the Sonics.
Pretty secure in the fact that this team will be headed back to the NBA Championship Series. All of the Lakers have to believe that. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit.
But Pat Riley this year is especially, has not allowed complacency. Not that it ever set in before, but he has driven this ball club, and he has been continuing to drive it. Even yesterday, being up 3-0 in the series, he was out here making adjustments offensively and defensively for his ball club.
Stolen by Scott. Pass intended for Ellis. I think Magic and Bird are great competitors along with Beans. Such superb basketball players. They've never seemed to be satisfied.
Well, isn't that the key in anything in life, to be outstanding in it? You can't be satisfied.
Worthy certainly wasn't. He took it for 2 more. Los Angeles calls a timeout. They're back in firm control of this one. Only 1 win away from another championship game, man. Larry Bird at half. That'll be interesting. See what he has to say. That has become a war between the Pistons and the Celtics. You know, I would suspect that around the league, if you talk to the players and the coaches, they would to a man say that if the Pistons are going to get it done and win a game in Boston, they better make it number 5 and not try to go to the Garden and win number 7. Would you agree with that, Billy?
Absolutely. They're such a tough ball club. You know, that game 7 last week against Milwaukee, being down 8, just showed me so much. You know, I gained even more respect for the Boston Celtics. They're never down and out.
Lakers continue on a roll here.
Brent,
what a great team they are.
The people at home are watching truly a great basketball team. I have never seen the Lakers come close to this defensively. Everybody is on the same page defensively. They're reacting to each other. Nothing comes easy.
And they have not been complacent here, up 3-0 either. They want to finish it off as fast as they can. Won't fall for the Sonics, so here they come again. Cavalry charge. My goodness.
You know, they don't want to beat the Sonics. They want to embarrass them.
Well, and when you think about next year, you put a little doubt in the Sonics' minds. They've got those draft choices, but they want them to remember this if they can. Abdul-Jabbar, will he be back next year? Certainly. He says he can play another year. He may go on forever.
With this team, maybe another 6 or 7.
Well, meanwhile, Bernie Bickerstaff, who came to this franchise, who was long overdue for Bickerstaff to get a shot as a head coach, and no matter what happens here this afternoon, if this blowout continues, you cannot take away what Bickerstaff and this Sonic franchise accomplished this year. They beat the 2 Texas teams, Dallas and then Houston, and they weren't given much of a chance in either one of those series, and now they have run into that juggernaut from Los Angeles. Take another look at one of those breakaways, Billy.
Now watch this. Kareem can't get control of this rebound, but he just knocks it loose, and here we go. It's a 4-on-2 fast break with the man with the ball right in the middle. The best maybe ever in that position.
You know, we're talking about Magic Johnson, his ability to run the break, and MVP, only the 3rd guard in the history of the league. Bob Cousy won it, Oscar Robertson won it, and I was surprised. I had forgotten that Jerry West had never won it. He should have won it at least one of those years. He must have. Well, I suppose Bill Russell was probably capturing a lot of MVPs back in that era.
You're right, but Jerry West, the career had, matter of fact, one of the few records that Jabbar does not hold in playoffs is scoring average. Jerry West averaged over 29 points a game in the playoffs.
What a great clutch shooter.
One year averaged over 40 points a game in the playoffs.
Well, we were talking about the Detroit-Boston series. I want to remind everybody again, Thursday night now, I want to jot down that time, 9 Eastern time. It'll be game 6. That'll be back in Detroit. They'll play 5 tomorrow night in Boston Garden, and then Thursday night we'll have the prime time action for you. So the Lakers have hit their last 8 shots, and the Sonics only 1 of 8. Discouraging for Seattle. They had battled back early here in the 2nd period and lose control again. Kareem called for the foul on Clement Johnson. That's Kareem's 2nd personal foul.
First in the last 2.
Speaking of great competitors, I guess Abdul-Jabbar never tires of winning either.
No, all great players are that way. I said that about Julius Erving. I knew the last game he played, I'm sure the day before that in practice he was trying to improve a phase of his game. And that goes for the Larry Birds, the Magic Johnsons, and the Jabbars.
Williams rebounding for the Sonics off the 3-point miss by Scott. McDaniel. And gets back on defense with a great effort, too, but he was out of bounds. Why is he called X?
Because his grandmother could not pronounce Xavier, so he became X.
X quit stealing those cookies. He's a great young player in this league, I want to tell you.
Should have been Rookie of the Year last year. I thought that Patrick Ewing's a great player, but he didn't play enough games to be worthy of that honor.
3 points.
There's a three-pointer by Byron Scott.
I think in the second half, what Bernie Bickerstaff has got to do is do something defensively, and I think they're going to have to come out.
Underneath, McDaniel continues to battle. Foul is called against Los Angeles. I'll tell you what he can do. Get the key to the Lakers. About a half a dozen of them up.
No, but Brent, that's not true, because I think that if it will know in the first few minutes of the third period, but they can come out, they can put their full court traps on, they have half court traps, they have 7 different looks they can throw at you defensively, and they just have to get themselves on a roll. If they can cut it in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half down to 12, 14 points, they can get back into the ball game. And especially with a young team, which would play on emotion, I think that would be very important.
Scott bringing it up. James Brown coming your way in less than a minute. We'll hear live from Larry Bird. Scott's 3 missing. Jamie's rebound into the hands of Williams. Loose and out of bounds. It'll go over to Los Angeles.
They are so sharp, the Lakers.
They wrap it up here this afternoon while Detroit and Boston continue to pound away at each other. The Lakers would sit at home and rest and secure in the knowledge that they would have the home court edge in the championship series. Out of bounds, it'll go over to the Sonics. A rare sight, watching Johnson throw the ball to the invisible man. At the buzzer, we've come to the end of the half with the Lakers and Magic Johnson in control of this one. James Brown will be back with the Prudential at the half from the Seattle Coliseum in Seattle, Washington, right after the George Custer over at the Battle of Little Bighorn in Montana when he said, "Where'd all these Indians come from?" And I would think that that's about the thought that's going through the Sonics' mind right now. How can they stop the Lakers?
Well, 2 things have to happen. Number one, that the Lakers don't come out and just play with the intensity they did in the first half. And number 2, they're going to have to take them out of this rhythm. They're going to have to execute their offense. But the big thing is that this Laker team is just put on a first half of basketball defensively. They played as well as I've seen any team play for a half.
You know, we sometimes overlook the contributions of the Los Angeles coach, Pat Riley. And he has something going for him that I'm not sure any other athlete can claim, and that is he was recruited by both the late Bear Bryant to play football at Alabama and the late Adolph Rupp to play basketball down at Kentucky. And, of course, he selected basketball, but I stumbled upon that story when I was in an airplane last week with a gentleman from Schenectady, New York, where Riley played high school. And he said, "Brent, do you realize that Pat Riley was one of the finest high school quarterbacks to ever come out of that area?" I had no idea. I thought all the time that he was a basketball player.
He made the right choice.
I would say that he certainly did. And we'll see how Riley and the Lakers 37%. And Billy Cunningham, during the halftime intermission, you were raving about this Laker defense.
They played as well as anybody can play defensively. They got every loose ball. They held the Sonics to 37% from the field, and every shot was a tough shot. There was always a hand in the face.
Scott coming with Dale Ellis. Not making it easy for him. And the first miss by the Sonics to start the second half. Scott comes down inside of McMillan, misses. Ellis rebounding for Seattle. Lister back with Chambers and McMillan and McDaniel for Bernie Bickerstaff. Ellis tries to save it on the turnover. Scott into the hands of the lead guard, Magic Johnson. He hits Worthy. Coming in from the wing, Worthy drew the foul, and he'll step up to that free throw line. Timeouts. Bernie Bickerstaff forced to use several in the first half. So the full timeouts remaining, 6 for Pat Riley and 2 for Bernie. Each coach with 1 20-second timeout here in the second half.
You notice how Magic, when he hit Worthy on that fast break, it was right in rhythm. He never had to break stride, just put his hands up, catch it, and go strong to the basket.
Brings Johnson over to the right side. You see Green with McDaniel. Johnson helps out, but there was an illegal defense called. Illegal defense called, so they will not shoot the technical yet. They will take the ball out of bounds on the side. Handsome, successful. You could be real envious of him, couldn't you, in a hurry? Pat Riley, what a job he's done.
But he's lost 10 pounds since the playoffs have started, and he's only lost 1 game during the course of the playoffs.
There's Daniel from the perimeter. Great bounce pass into the hands of A.C. Green, and he was fouled. Let's see, he passed somebody on the playoff list with victories by a coach in the NBA. That was his 67th on Saturday. Whose name did he go past on that list?
He got me.
He sure did. He got you, kid.
Boy,
you may have to go back and coach one of the expansion teams. And
no, thank you.
there are a few jobs available if you'd like to regain that. There they are, the all-time playoff wins.
KC will be going by very shortly, or if not this year, next year.
That won't cause you to pull for your friend Chuck Daly, though, will it?
No, I think that's a great series. The scary thing is, though, one of those two teams are going to have to play the Laker ball club if things keep going the way they are right now.
That's Kareem's 3rd personal foul.
First team foul of the quarter.
Fans are seeking comfort in any small, satisfactory statistic here. Shovel-worthy, and he hits Green. Rejection. Loose. Sonics come up with it. Ellis gets it over to McMillan. Coast to coast. And right back comes Los Angeles. They are so quick off of made field goals that no, he traveled before the shot.
The key is when you run that way, you don't allow the defense to set up. And that's so unselfish as a ball club that they make that extra pass and they find the good shot.
Ellis couldn't get it to foul. He drew the foul, so he'll step on up to the free throw line.
Timeout.
9:54 to go here in the 3rd period. The Lakers step closer to another championship appearance. Well, let's illustrate what Billy has been talking about regarding the Los Angeles defense in this series against Dale Ellis. For example, against Dallas, 30-point average. Houston, 29. 17 against the Lakers, and only 4 points today. Ellis uses screens. He's a rhythm-type player, if you will, and every time he comes around, the Lakers are contesting him all the way, not giving him that daylight that he needs. Something down on the floor, being tended to here in the Coliseum. So Ellis on the court along with Chambers, McDaniel, McMillan, and Lister. Are the Sonics, Billy, capable of playing the kind of defense that they need to get back in this one?
They're capable, but they need to get on a little run and build that confidence back up and get a spark, create a few turnovers, and get the Lakers where they're a little tentative. at their, running game, and maybe they're just holding it back and not executing with that flow that they've been able to establish so far.
Let's see, in the first half, the Lakers went up by 14, and the Sonics came back to within 7 at one point. And then the Lakers spurted again, and now they're up 72-53 with 9:54 to go here. And whatever it was that was down on the floor is proving to be more troublesome than we first expected.
Well, one thing, Kareem has 3 fouls now. If he would pick up his 4th, and now Michael Thompson comes in, maybe this would allow, Bernie Bickerstaff to come with a smaller lineup, and maybe he would be able to come a little more aggressive and get into a running game a little more with the Lakers. But they're just going to have to play perfect ball for a while.
Speaking of that Boston-Detroit series, I couldn't help but think yesterday that the Celtics, because of all their injuries, had to be affected by the fact that they went back-to-back in that series on Saturday and Sunday. It was probably somewhat difficult for those players to recover quickly and play a second game within that 24-hour period, don't you think?
Yeah, but I thought it would be tougher for Detroit. Did you really? Emotionally, to get themselves back up for Game 4. I knew the injuries, with Parrish, etc., but I thought that with that fight with Lambier and Bird, I thought that the Celtics would come out with that spark and have a good chance in winning that ball game.
Now they go to the trap and put pressure onto the backcourt, and AC Green handling the ball. Magic quickly to help out. Look at Magic bark out instructions. He's like having a coach on the floor. Loose. Sonics. Lister with control. Now it's McMillan. You listen to this crowd and you think we're in a 2- or 3-point basketball game. Chambers with a miss, and Lister inside with a jump hook. A third chance. Won't fall.
See them rushing the shots.
Everything hurried. They go 0 for 4 on that trip. Johnson leads the break, and Scott, drawing the foul, will move up to the free throw line. That's 2 on McMillan.
You have to have the patience at the offensive end of the court. They had more than enough opportunities that last time down to convert a basket or at least get to the foul line. But they just rushed those shots. And when you think of the Lakers, you don't think of a team that's a shot-blocking team. Kareem leads his team in blocking shots, but, that's about it. And he's got to be a little cautious with 3 fouls on him right now.
Riley's team has stayed healthy throughout this season. That is probably the biggest factor when you determine a champion in any of the professional sports. Ellis over from the left baseline missing. AC Green down with the rebound. Quickly into the hands of Scott. And he draws the foul. He'll come back to that free throw line. Live in Seattle in the shadow of the Space Needle, along with Billy Cunningham, I'm Brent Musburger. The Los Angeles Lakers are 1 win away from going back to the NBA Finals, and that would be their 6th appearance in the 8 years that Magic Johnson has played for them since he won an NCAA title while leading the Michigan State Spartans last Larry Bird and Indiana State. And that championship game was played in Salt Lake. It has been an unbelievable impact by both Bird and Magic. And this year, Magic capturing the MVP award, and he at the ceremony said, and I would like to thank Larry Bird for dropping off just a little bit during the regular season and allowing me to win this one. McDaniel. Johnson there to help out defensively. AC Green couldn't get the handle, rolls out of bounds, but it was touched last by Seattle. It'll go to the Lakers.
You just see every time there's a shot taken by the Sonics, there's at least one hand in the shooter's face.
Lister battling Kareem over on the right side, so they go to work. Kareem trying to keep it in place. Sonics ball.
They've got to push it. They've got to push it and get the opportunity shots. And the reason I say that as much as anything is because of the defense that the Lakers are playing right now. If they get that opportunity to run, it doesn't allow the Lakers to set up that defense.
Lakers have scored all 8 of their points this period from the free throw line. They can't get the field goals to fall. Sonics aren't doing much at the offensive end.
No, but that's the key to an outstanding team. You're going to struggle at times at the offensive end of the court. Your defense must remain consistent.
Nice drive by Ellis. Chambers helps out against Kareem. He hits Green underneath. And Lister jumping in to help out. Fouls AC, who will come to the free throw line. That's 4 on Lister.
15 foul.
Alton Lister should have gone straight up to block that shot and not come down on AC Green, which he did, and AC was able to draw the foul.
2 shots for Green.
Green has contributed 12 points already this afternoon. He's 6 of 8 from that free throw line. Some of you back at the Louisville area may be wondering about Billy Thompson. He's not playing because of a knee injury, hyperextended in the last series. McMillan, and Kareem rejected it. Magic in the middle. It's Worthy. Time after time. 3 on 1, 3 on 2. McDaniel.
That's the kind of game the Sonics have to make it. They have to make it a schoolyard game, up and down the court, if they're going to get back into this game.
Johnson.
Last year and the years in the past, you weren't that concerned with Magic coming off and thinking shot. He was always thinking pass. Now, I just don't know what to do with the guy.
McMillan.
Now, next year, you'll see McMillan shooting the ball more and being more confident. When you become a rookie in this league and you have the responsibility as a lead guard, there's so much that goes along with that because you're an extension of your coach out there, and to give that added responsibility to score, it was a little too much, Bernie Bickerstaff felt.
Got a timeout in Seattle. It is still all Lakers. 6:26 to go in the third. We talked about the health of the Los Angeles Lakers. They went 26 games at the end of the season without a player missing because of an injury. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sat out number 27 because of tendonitis. But if the game had been important, he would have been able to play. Gives you an indication of how well the Lakers have stayed in shape. And I've been struck here this afternoon at the way they continue to run up and down the floor, Billy.
Oh, they're on a mission. There's no question, and you have to give the credit to Pat Riley because he's the one that has been on top of them. He won't let them rest. And the big thing is, if things continue, he might have to stay on top, and it'll be really tough. They might have several days off before they get started with the championship series.
Away from the ball, Chambers muscling Abdul-Jabbar. He committed the foul.
You know, another point you mentioned about, well, we'll watch the replay first. Now watch Chambers trying to fight through the screen of Jabbar. Now he's just got a hold of Kareem around the waist.
One plus defender number 2 for Abdul-Jabbar.
But the Lakers players missed a total of 15 games during the course of the season this year because of injuries.
Into Chambers. Nothing easy against this defense. Green rebounding. Wanted Green. McDaniel was there. He comes down the middle and bangs into Abdul-Jabbar.
That was a good no call by the official because, if anything, Xavier McDaniels created that contact.
Scott. Magic. Lucas and AC Green eyeing each other underneath. And the tee going against Bernie.
He felt there was some contact before that allowed the Lakers to get that offensive rebound. What I have seen today, a this Laker ball club. My personal opinion is that this is the best team that Pat Riley has had here. And the reason is the defensive end of the court. Because if you want to run as much as this Laker team would like to, the only way you can run is either creating turnovers, getting defensive rebounds, blocking shots, and that's what they've been able to do. Another technical foul on Xavier McDaniel. Now you see the frustration in the Sonics.
So the Sonics will try to regain their poise here. 5:30.
They'll make a run at the Lakers. I don't know if it's going to be good enough to get them back with a chance to win, but they'll make some kind of a run.
Looking to establish that statement. Johnson goes down the middle, and it is Lucas inside. There is a pounding being handed out in underneath the basket. Johnson took a blow on that drive.
In the past, that's what you wanted to do with the Lakers. They were called the soft team. Not anymore. Warrior stays with it.
Another foul going against Seattle. Lakers have committed only 2 team fouls this period. A couple of fouls ago, the Sonics went over that limit. This quarter, at that free throw line, Los Angeles will be shooting for the 16th time. They have made 13 of 15. The Sonics have shot only 2 free throws. Part of the reason why Bickerstaff is bitterly complaining over there on the Sonic bench. Kareem sitting down as Michael Thompson checks back into Riley's lineup. McDaniel. Chambers underneath, couldn't get it to fall. Into the hands of Johnson. McDaniel.
If you walked into this building and didn't know what the score was, and you listened to the crowd, you would think it was a 3 or 4 point basketball game. And probably that the Sonics were leading it.
I think it is the best crowd I have ever heard when the home team is being blown out.
Well, this is a rejuvenated franchise. You know, you look back in 79-80, this franchise led the league in attendance, averaging over 20,000 people a game. And it dropped off drastically. As a matter of fact, this year they only averaged just over 8,000 people per game, but the playoffs have ignited the city, and they've just rejuvenated this franchise.
Ellis dueling Magic, gets in behind him, gets back outside to Worthy. Into Green's hands. That won't fall for LA. Johnson wanting Chambers on the move. Here's Magic. Eddie Johnson fouled him.
Foul, Eddie Johnson.
And Magic will go to the foul line. Well, that's the kind of day it's been now. You see Chambers trying to make the pass. He lost control, and there's Magic standing at half court waiting for the pass.
Williams.
Kevin Williams
Into the Sonics lineup.
for the Sonics.
And McDaniel takes a break. Chambers.
Greenberg.
The turnover, it was Williams. On the drive. Cooper gets it up. Johnson jumps out on him, helps Williams, and the foul goes against the Sonics. That is the 5th on Johnson.
Well, they have to gamble defensively. They have to be aggressive out here and see if they can create some turnovers. And that doesn't hurt either.
McMillan
For the Sonics.
replacing Johnson. And if you took a look at that shot, you wouldn't know who's winning the game either. That pass. Cooper comes through, and he was fouled. He was well on his way to a breakaway before he was fouled.
Again, it's that defense of the Lakers creating those opportunities.
Foul charge to Ellis, his second.
You know, Michael Cooper is thinking of trying for the Olympics in the high jump. What I understand, he's going to train this summer to see if he can get up obviously well over 7 feet to give himself a chance for the Olympics.
Inside of 3:10 here in the 3rd. Away from the ball. And it's against Michael Thompson, his 3rd. They'll shoot on the next one. So there's been a big difference in team fouls here in the 3rd period. Lucas. Worthy. Out to Johnson. Cooper off the fake.
Michael Cooper.
Williams.
Short! That's not the kind of shot you need when you're trying to come back.
Lucas snaps it in.
You want to make sure you get a good shot every time down the court. If you're going to be aggressive in doing anything, it has to be at the defensive end of the court.
Hit by McMillan.
Timeout, Lakers.
And the Lakers use a timeout here in the 3rd. 95-73. Los Angeles. I remember when Bernard Bickerstaff was born. His daddy was an assistant coach back with the Washington Bullets, and look at him now. He helps out here with the team.
He's got to be proud of his dad.
Oh, you bet.
You know, as a coach, your goal when you start the season is to have your team come as close to reaching its potential as possible. And I think both of these coaches have done an outstanding job of that with their ball clubs.
At the end of the game, Billy, you and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game, and Miller Lite will present a check in the amount of $1,000 to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society in that player's name. Checked on the longest Seattle run of the game, Billy. It is only 6 points. Off the miss, it's Magic. They're going to need a couple runs longer than that to climb back in this one.
Here's the pick and roll.
Bernie pleading, saying it was an offensive foul all the way, and Lucas jumps out, and the personal will be called on Seattle.
Lucas is 3rd.
Lucas thought he got all ball. Joey Crawford said no.
throw. Huge difference in getting to the free throw line in this game.
They've been taking the ball to the basket.
Up 3-0. I'm sure some felt that the Lakers might lack a little bit of the effort, thinking they had this one well in hand. That has not been the case here this afternoon. 1 and out. Johnson to Cooper. Lob to Michael Thompson.
I tell you what, it's just so enjoyable to see a great team when they're on a roll and they're ready to go. You know, I know everyone at home would like to see a closer game, but they're truly watching a great exhibition by this Laker team.
Not just those at home.
Yes.
Clement Johnson reporting back in for the Sonics. Well, meanwhile, Detroit and Boston will continue to bump and grind in that Eastern Conference Series. One will survive, and they'll pack their bags and jet west to take on the Los Angeles Lakers for the NBA championship. If you're wondering, will the Lakers toast themselves a little champagne, the answer to that is no, not today. There is no champagne. It's the next series that they want. Thompson. Johnson and Green going up for the rebound. Foul going against AC Green.
15 foul penalty.
Frequently, we have seen those great runs in NBA games, 16-4, 18-5, things of that nature that draw teams back in the third and fourth. But every place you look, including the Laker bench, there is so much talent. You just wonder what it will take to get uphill when you trail the Lakers like this, when you fall this far behind.
And it's talent that complements each other. It's not everybody has a role, everybody is willing to accept it and play for one common goal, and that is to win and get back into the championship series.
So they hit 100. They've got 30-some seconds to go. They lead the Sonics by 25. Knocked away, loose underneath. And the Sonics come away. McDaniel. 18 for McDaniel. Magic loses it. Ellis, but the horn sounds.
That's the end of the quarter. Lakers.
We've come to the end of the third period with the score. The Lakers 100, the Sonics 77. We'll return to the Seattle Center Coliseum in Washington right after these messages from your local station. Are just one period away from another appointment in an NBA championship series. And they wailed away from the free throw line. In that third period, the Lakers were 23 of 28. And you see how they've done for the entire game. The Sonics were only 6 of 6 on the line, contributing to Coach Bickerstaff's frustrations over on the side as the Sonics draw 2 technicals in that third. Along with Billy Cunningham, I'm Brent Musburger. The Los Angeles Lakers have put on a clinic here in Game 4. Cooper loses it. Diving for the loose ball was Williams, and it'll be a jump between Worthy and Kevin Williams.
Now this is the time you got to look to pressure them if you're the Sonics, with Magic Johnson sitting over on the bench.
Nursing the lead, bringing the shot clock down. Worthy with the left-handed drive. Through the foul. And he'll step back up to the free throw line.
First team foul of the quarter.
Worthy is so quick with that first step. If you don't get to him, double teaming as the ball is in the air to him, it's just too late. He's going to be able to make that quick step and puts that defensive man in a very vulnerable position.
Worthy's 24th point.
You know, you look at him, and during the course of the summer last year, so much talk about that trade of James Worthy going to the Dallas team. And boys, obviously that trade worked out very well for the Lakers, not making it.
Johnson, Williams, Chambers, McDaniel, and Clement Johnson on the floor for Bickerstaff. Sonics ball from the side. Stolen by Worthy. Score it.
The thing that's impressive, there hasn't been at any point you had the feeling that this Laker team is let up defensively.
Worthy dueling McDaniel back into Chambers' hands. Here's lead of 3. Rambis. Williams got a hand on it. Winds up with Xavier McDaniel. Won't fall for the Sonics. It's been that kind of an afternoon and a series for Seattle. He's hit by the Sonics, so Cooper was eligible to retrieve it. Scott. Loose ball foul going against Los Angeles.
Loose ball foul.
With Dale Ellis returning for the Sonics.
First team foul in the quarter.
Now we see the Sonics going with a small lineup, very similar to what the Lakers have on the court now with Michael Thompson in the middle.
Williams fouled on the drive.
Worthy is second team foul.
Green checks in. And Worthy sets.
AC Green replaces Worthy for the Lakers.
Now, if you're going to make any kind of run with Magic, Worthy, and Jabbar sitting on the bench, they don't have their great offensive threats that they like to go to out of when they go to their set offense. So you've got to look for Seattle to go to some trapping defenses.
So Thompson is out there with Green, Scott, Rambis, and Cooper for Los Angeles. Cooper quickly to the attack, left-handed, gets it back and dribbles it out. And Scott on the fly.
I guess it doesn't matter who you have in there.
Ellis missed the layup. Into Scott's hands, and it's 3-on-2, now 4-on-2. Los Angeles advantage. Cooper all alone. First shot. McDaniel out for the Sonics. Eddie Johnson on the drive.
With this lineup in there, you'd think the Lakers would be looking for Thompson or for Byron Scott. Let's go to AC.
Lister returning for Seattle as we take a commercial timeout with 9:12 to go. Well, a few minutes ago, the NBA announced its ruling regarding that fight that broke out the other night between the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons. Time was running out on the 24-second shot clock when Bill Laimbeer and Larry Bird got twisted up underneath. Laimbeer slammed him down to the floor. Bird retaliated with a right hand. Before they were separated, Bill Walton came off the Celtic bench. So a short time ago, the director of operations, Rod Thorne, made public the fines. Laimbeer has been fined $5,000 for fighting and the flagrant foul after the 24-second shot clock had expired. Bird is assessed $2,000 for his role in the fight, and Walton fined $500 because he left the bench and joined in the fracas. That announcement a short time ago by Rod Thorne, the director of operations for the National Basketball Association. Here in the Coliseum in Seattle, we have 9:12 to go. The Lakers have led all the way. Their biggest lead, 27 points. They are up now 105-81. And the sands of time running out on the Seattle SuperSonics. Since they are Cinderella, they are fast approaching midnight. After having knocked out both Dallas and Houston, and now they have faced reality. And the Los Angeles Lakers taking one step closer toward what most experts believe will be another NBA championship. They will play the survivor, and I do mean that, the survivor of the Boston-Detroit series. I suspect the earliest that it could begin would be next Sunday in Los Angeles. I'm guessing, I have not seen a schedule yet, as Eddie Johnson fires a three.
Eddie Johnson.
And again, this crowd, the arena has stayed jammed. The crowd has stayed behind the SuperSonics. I'm not sure I've seen anything quite like this. Thompson.
Michael Thompson.
I dare say that when this ends, and if the Lakers win it, this crowd will give the Sonics a standing ovation when it's over. Loyalists to the very end.
And one thing is, they're seeing this team, the Sonics team, not quit out here on the basketball court. They're giving it everything they have. The only problem is they're playing the Lakers.
The Lakers have A.C. Green, James Worthy, Magic Johnson. You get Michael Thompson and Kurt Rambis off the bench.
You know, do you still have that uniform from that game you played in? The one that you might be able to get into this ball game. The return of Musburger.
I was about to say, maybe you could go out and help Seattle a little that firepower, as Matthews is off the Laker bench, and you told me that West played a good game in number 3 here.
He did. He came off the bench when the Lakers had foul trouble at the guard position, hit a couple jump shots, and just did an excellent job coming off the bench.
Ellis. That's about as much daylight as they've allowed him in this series. Inside to Green. Ellis coming with him, commits the personal.
That was a great pass by Michael Thompson. That was interesting. Pat Riley felt that Michael Thompson is a player that needs to play about 25 to 28 minutes a game. And with this team so far, he has not been able to give him those minutes. He feels he would be a more productive player for this team.
You know, one of the tests of the Lakers today, Billy, is the fact that when you think MVP, who is the player of this game, no one stands out simply because they all stood out.
I think you'd have to give it to the Lakers' defense. Their team defense.
That's a testimony to the job done by Pat Riley and Bill Burtka and the Lakers staff. Lakers have forced 19 turnovers by the Sonics here this afternoon. Chambers has it knocked away by still more Los Angeles defense.
Michael Thompson.
You know what's scary? If you look at the bench, there's Jabbar, Cooper, Magic Johnson, and James Worthy sitting over there. And that's the last, well, it's the last 22nd timeout for Bernie Bickerstaff.
Someday we maybe look back at this Laker team through the years and find that they were one of the best ever. Now, there's still another series after this one before we can declare something like that. We'll be right back. 6:48 from another appearance in an NBA final for the Lakers of Los Angeles. And Billy, in talking to head coach Pat Riley and his assistants, which team would they rather play, Detroit or Boston?
No question. They want the guys in green, the Celtics, the world champions.
Do they think they match up better, or do they just like the rivalry?
Oh, the rivalry. It's simply the rivalry, and they want to dethrone the Celtics.
Well, I'm sure Boston and its fans would love to see that series again, but they got a tough one on their hands right now.
You know, with the Pistons, the thing is, they've been two different teams. The team that played at home was loose, aggressive, very effective offensively. Now, how are they going to respond when they come out there in the Boston Garden?
Ellis with a nice jump shot. One of the things in favor of whoever survives that Eastern Conference Series, I think overall the competition in the East has been tougher this year. So Boston and Detroit will have come through a little bit better minefield than the Lakers have been faced with out west. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think another thing, though, looking at that game is that the Celtics are going to have to control the tempo.
Williams stuck with it, and the crowd is hanging behind them. An amazing performance by the fans here in Seattle. Boy, this is something for the franchise to build, isn't it? Rambis underneath, he's in the left hand.
And with 6 first-round draft choices over the next 3 years, that's very helpful, too, to build a franchise.
Ellis, short. Taps it up over the top. It'll go to Los Angeles. Adrian Branch. Saw him play some good games with Maryland. So it's Matthews and Branch, Rambis, Green, and Thompson. Thompson recovered in time, was short on the shot. LA's ball, although it appeared that Green might have gotten a piece of it, with Shaney checking in for Bickerstaff.
Replacing Ellis.
Now, Branch is an outstanding perimeter shooter. Excellent touch, left-handed. Someone that Pat Riley likes quite a bit.
Johnson anticipated well, forced that turnover. McDaniel hits Chambers on the break, and Branch coming with it. Chance for a three-point play, and it is 1:15.92 and 4:48.
Now, if they come back and hit a couple hoops now, Pat Riley's going to have to make a decision of going back to his bench.
Only 4 of those points here in the second half, however. Now it's 5 for Chambers. Chaney rejects it. Here's Kevin Williams looking for daylight. No continuation, no basket. Rambis fouled him earlier, and they will be shooting free throws, but no continuation field goal.
15 foul penalty. Danny Young replaces Eddie Johnson.
One thing I thought was very interesting what Bernie Bickerstaff has done with this basketball team, playing 11 players. I thought that would be very difficult, and I asked him, I said, how did the players react to this decision, you know, rotating the way? He said, they've just been fantastic the way they have. And I said, well, do you have any rules concerning this? Yeah. If you go out there and you're not productive, you come over and sit down next to me, and the players understand that.
Nice block by Chambers, but Green is there. Knocked away by Williams. Matthews runs it down. Williams continues to hound it. Here's Michael Thompson. Short, AC Green, another offensive rebound, and he hits the field goal.
Boy, has he become an outstanding player.
Young missing. Into the hands of Branch. Branch into Rambis. Rambis shoots a layup.
You know things are good when they're running plays for Kurt Rambis inside. But I've said it several times, but it just amazes me the intensity level that they've been able to maintain, the Lakers here, throughout this basketball game.
Mike Smrek checks in. Number 52 will get to see some action here for Coach Riley, and Thompson sits down.
From Canisius College.
Eddie Johnson on the wraparound. Lambus. Hammered by Chambers.
Foul Chambers is fourth team foul. For the Sonics, number 42.
Curtis Kitchen.
Replaces Bob Chambers.
Where did Curtis Kitchens come from, Billy?
Came from the old Albany patrons of the CBA. And when he was acquired by the Sonics, at that time he was leading the league in block shots and third in rebounding.
Young. Three missing. Lambus. Time remaining, and the Los Angeles Lakers will go back to the NBA Championship Series.
There they are, picking up another loose ball. You know, Wes Matthews played last year with San Antonio and had a big series against the Lakers, and I think that's why they got him from San Antonio. He averaged 25 points a game.
Green keeping it in play, and he's fouled. And now he has words with Kitchen. Rambis steps over, and Bickerstaff pushing Green away. So we'll sort this out. James Brown will have an interview with a very interested spectator momentarily.
We've talked so much about that war going on in the Eastern Conference Finals between Detroit and Boston. Well, for the first time showing up for this series here is the assistant coach for the Detroit Pistons, Dick Versace. And I trust your presence here today is confidence that you guys can get by Boston into the finals.
Well, James, you know, it's a long way out here, number one. Number two, we're not concerned about the distance, but we wanted to make sure that we were in position to start looking at the Lakers. We were definitely coming. It wasn't like we weren't coming.
Quickly, we've seen two Detroit teams, one in Boston and one in Detroit. Which one will show up the rest of the way?
Well, I don't think the team that opened up in Boston was a team that played, you know, in Detroit all year. We just had laid out for 8 days. That really bothered us. I'd like to think the team that is going to show up is the team that you saw this weekend.
We've also got a Celtics scout here. We'll get to him later. Back to you, Brent.
An amazing celebration by the fans in Seattle. Down 3 games to none, about to be swept, and a standing ovation for their SuperSonics, who came out of nowhere to eliminate Dallas and Houston before running into the juggernaut from Los Angeles. Lambus off with the missed free throw, and here's Matthews. Worthy scored 26 today. Magic Johnson had 21 and 12 assists. Scott scored 19, Green 19, and Abdul-Jabbar 13. Blanche. There's that shot you spoke about.
2 minutes in the quarter.
The three from Young. AC's off with the rebound.
Don't be surprised if you don't see the same play with Branch coming off the double screen. That's what we had, and there's the switch. Excellent pass by Matthews, finding Rambis.
The protective padding underneath the glass backboard came down on the Laker end. Cheney missing. And it'll go over. And Bernie Bickerstaff went out and picked it up, cleared it out, and he gets still another hand.
He doesn't want to hang around here any longer. Well, they have to fix that.
Kevin Williams replaces Eddie Johnson for the Sonics.
I guess the big question for Pat Riley is what is he going to do with his team with this layoff?
He can have some pretty good scrimmages, judging by the talent on this bench.
Yeah, but you might, the problem that you have is after, if they do end up having to play, say, Tuesday night, okay, in the finals, is to keep that sharpness that they have right now, and they'll be away from that competition that they're experiencing right now, and it's a challenge for Pat Riley. Does he give them a few days off now? Does he work them hard every day? It's a nice decision, I might add, that he has to make.
Sports can be such a roller coaster ride. A year ago, the Lakers being humbled by Houston. Now they appear invincible. Seattle, in dramatic fashion, got by Dallas and Houston. Now they wear the long faces.
Well, you mentioned earlier that with Magic Johnson here, the Lakers have been to the finals 6 out of 8 years. The team that's knocked them out twice has been Houston. The last time they were able to come back and repeat as champions. Will they be able to do it again?
Williams will step up to that free throw line, and the crowd still alive here in Seattle.
Foul is charged to Sprint, his second.
You can see the crowd over behind the benches, and you can see how few empty seats. There are a handful here and there, and some of the fans now getting up and moving toward the exits. But Magic Johnson going down and congratulating Bernie Bickerstaff on the great year that the Seattle SuperSonics had. It was interesting in talking to Riley about possible coaches on this Laker team. He said someday he thinks Magic Johnson will be a coach in the NBA. Here's Branch. Short, but Rambis muscles his way in for a left-handed field goal. Running back defensively against Kevin Williams. Foul going against Los Angeles. And at the 19-second mark, the Sonics will be shooting free throws. One of the things, of course, to keep in mind about the championship series format is the fact that they go 2-3-2. Puts a lot of pressure on a team like the Lakers not to lose one of the first two. Pat Riley and Bernie Bickerstaff shaking hands as the Seattle coach went down and congratulated Riley. And now the love fest continues here in Seattle. They'll give him a standing ovation the rest of the way.
It's got to make the players and Bernie Bickerstaff and the whole Seattle franchise feel very good. Could you imagine if they won?
Watch the Seattle bench. They're going to go down to the Laker bench. It's like the end of a Stanley Cup series. Something that I wish all sports would follow.
2 shots.
James Brown is standing by with the leader of these Los Angeles Lakers, so let's go to James.
All right, we're with Magic Johnson right now. Magic, you guys have only lost one in the postseason. Did you learn from the one loss at Golden State? Is that why you guys were so psyched up today?
No question about it. We felt that we celebrated a little too early, and Sleepy Floyd just went to work on us, and our team defense was lousy in the fourth quarter when we played them. So we wanted to come out today and play 48 minutes of basketball and not celebrate until after it's over.
And no way to take away from the good feeling of this victory. Are you concerned that you'll be sitting a little too long until next Tuesday for the winner of the Boston-Detroit series?
Well, not really. I think that it's only in your mind. You know, if you just come out and play your game and just play through maybe a little rust at the beginning, we'll be all right. We've done it before, and it didn't really take effect of us. So I'm looking just whenever we play just to be ready.
Magic Johnson, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck in the next series.
All
right, Brent Musburger and Billy Cunningham will be back on the other side of this commercial and these messages from your local station.
So many MVPs for the Lakers, but let's select A.C. Green as our Miller Lite player of the game. He played a splendid game, offensively and defensively, and Miller is proud to present a check for $1,000 to the Multiple Sclerosis Society on behalf of Green. Billy Cunningham, quickly, who do you like now, Boston or Detroit, the rest of the way in the East?
I think Detroit's going to do it. I think they're going to somehow figure a way of dethroning the Celtics.
All right, and we're going to be back for a final word here in Seattle in just a moment. The Lakers head back to the championship, and for Billy Cunningham and James Brown, I'm Brent Musburger saying so long from Seattle with a final score, 133-102 Lakers. The NBA on CBS has been a presentation of CBS Sports.